I just dropped a massive chunk of cash on the M5 Pro MacBook Pro, and honestly, the timing of this purchase couldn't be weirder. Mark Gurman is actively screaming about the upcoming M6 redesign, and Twitter is flooded with rumors about OLED displays. But there is a very dark secret Apple isn't telling you about their pricing strategy right now. And if you are waiting for the next generation, you might be walking directly into a trap. Today, I'm going to explain exactly why I pulled the trigger on this specific configuration, why the Apple tax is quietly getting completely out of control, and why skipping the upcoming M6 generation might be the smartest financial decision you can make this year. Let's back up for a second and look at my actual workflow, because context matters. Those of you who have been watching the channel for a long time know I have been doing the impossible. Up until this week, my daily driver on the road was a 2017 MacBook Air. Yes, you heard that correctly. Almost a decade old. For 9 years, that machine took absolute abuse. It handled everything I threw at it until the world shifted. Now we are living in a time of local AI models, massive 4K and 8K video timelines, and incredibly heavy software development environments. The old Air simply cannot keep up anymore. It is officially dead to me. A few years ago, I did buy an M2 Mac desktop, which still handles my studio work beautifully. It breezes through multiple virtual machines, smashes through local AI processing, and eats 4K footage for breakfast. But here's the problem. My job requires me to travel constantly. When I leave the city, I leave my desktop power behind, and my productivity absolutely tanks when I am forced to rely on that ancient Intel Air. I needed desktop-class power in a backpack. So why did I go with the M5 Pro specifically? Why this exact machine? This configuration is the 15-core CPU and 16-core GPU variant, loaded with 24 gigabytes of unified memory and a 1 terabyte SSD. It is an absolute powerhouse. You get 3 incredibly fast Thunderbolt 5 ports, the return of MagSafe 3, which is still my favorite charging method, a high-impedance 3.5mm headphone jack, a dedicated HDMI port, and a full-size SD card reader. Cupertino finally listened to professionals and gave us our ports back, and having all of this integrated seamlessly without needing a dongle is a massive relief. I am done living the dongle life. But the specs are only half the story. The real reason I bought this right now comes down to supply chain economics. A few weeks ago, reports from the LEC and DG Times started dropping some very disturbing news. Because of massive global demand for memory and storage, Apple quietly jacked up their upgrade pricing. If you go to configure a Mac today, adding RAM and SSD space is significantly more expensive than it was just a few months ago. And it is not just the hardware. Apple Care Plus saw a massive price hike too. This exact configuration I bought is now hundreds of dollars more expensive than it was at launch. Once Apple raises their prices, they never bring them back down. The Apple tax is real, and it is expanding. I managed to track down this unit from a vendor who still had the old pricing structure, but it was a nightmare. Major retailers like Flipkart were completely out of stock in my area, and other stores refused to honor the old MSRP. I had to hunt this down to avoid overpaying. You might be sitting there asking, why didn't you just wait for the M6? It is literally right around the corner. Ming Chi Kuo and Shrimp Apple Pro have been dropping massive leaks about the upcoming silicon, and honestly, I will believe it when I see it. According to the latest supply chain whispers, the M6 processor is going to be incredibly fractured. We are likely only going to see the base M6 chip at launch. The M6 Pro and M6 Max chips are nowhere in sight, likely delayed due to TSMC 3nm yields and thermal throttling issues on the more powerful nodes. On top of that, Ross Young has pointed out that the highly anticipated OLED MacBooks are still facing massive production hurdles. The next premium tier from Apple, supposedly dubbed the MacBook Ultra, is heavily rumored to still rely on the M5 Pro and M5 Max architecture anyway. They're going to slap a massive price tag on it, give it a slightly thinner chassis, maybe an OLED screen, and charge an absolute premium. I do not have the patience to wait for a base M6 that lacks the graphical horsepower I need, nor do I have $5 or $6 grand to drop on ultra-premium tier just to get unified memory that doesn't choke. This base M5 Pro hits the absolute sweet spot for price-to-performance ratio. Speaking of storage, 1 terabyte is plenty for my local machine because I do not keep my archives locally. What do you actually do with your massive project files, sensitive documents, and virtual machine snapshots? If you're still throwing unencrypted data onto a generic cloud drive, you're playing a very dangerous game with your privacy. I rely on Interxt. It is a privacy-first, open-source cloud storage platform that uses zero-knowledge, end-to-end encryption. That means nobody, not even the employees at Interxt, can see your files. They are GDPR compliant and ISO 27001 certified. For those of us running penetration testing labs or hoarding cybersecurity scan evidence, it is the only logical choice. You do not need to carry around unencrypted USB drives anymore. It works seamlessly across Mac, Windows, Linux, and your smartphone. They offer lifetime plans which are insanely rare these days. You pay once, and you own the space forever. You even get a suite of tools like a cleaner, antivirus, and VPN. Check the link in the description for a massive 90% discount on their lifetime plan that you cannot even find on their public website. So how is this M5 Pro actually going to change my daily workflow? When I travel, I am heavily reliant on virtualization. I need to spin up multiple instances of VMware, VirtualBox, and Parallels all at the same time. I need to run Kali Linux alongside Windows environments for my security testing, all while actively recording the entire process. The unified memory architecture here means I am not going to hit that terrifying swap memory bottleneck that plagued older models. It handles 4K video editing without dropping a single frame, and the export times are basically instant. The one wildcard is local AI development. Running large language models locally requires massive amounts of VRAM. While 24 gigabytes is solid, I am very curious to see if this chip hits thermal throttling when I push sustained medium-sized AI models. I'm going to be running heavy benchmarks over the next few weeks to see exactly where the breaking point is, and I will be documenting every single dropped frame and thermal spike. Is a $3,000 laptop actually worth it? When I look at the fact that my previous MacBook Air lasted me 9 years, the math starts to make sense. If this M5 Pro can give me even 7 years of reliable desktop-class performance in a backpack, the daily cost of ownership becomes completely negligible. I'm going to spend the next few days transferring my massive data sets, configuring my developer environments, and setting up my Docker containers. Once everything is perfectly tuned, I will push this silicon to its absolute limits. What kind of torture test do you want to see me run on this machine? Drop your weirdest, heaviest software combinations in the comments, and I'll try to break this laptop in the next video.